r/ask Reddit. What fictional character do you feel bad for the most? Any character that loses their glasses. Then while they are crawling on the ground looking for them, the glasses get broken. I have no idea why, but that moment always makes me feel worse than most other things. The Twilight Zone episode Time Enough at Last. I felt that crunch. The girl squirrel from the Sword in the Stone animated film. If you haven't seen it, the protagonist Arthur gets magically turned into a squirrel and a girl squirrel falls in love with him. When Arthur got turned back into a human and left her all heartbroken and crying, it genuinely upset me. As a young kid, it was one of my first experiences of feeling real pity, and it stuck with me ever since. It wouldn't have hit as hard if Merlin didn't know that they pick a mate for life. So a little boy's training lesson left that girl squirrel to be heartbroken for the rest of her life. The kid's like 12? How long do squirrels live anyway? Get the hell back in that tree and live a happy life with that girl squirrel, damn it. King of England can't wait a few years. Squirrels can live like 20 years, so that's a hefty commitment just for pity's sake. Then again, he's English, so I'm surprised he didn't just commit to it out of fear of the social awkwardness caused by the reveal that he's a human, not a squirrel. Shrug, oh well, guess I'm a squirrel now. Goofy. I'm sure anyone around 30 or so who has seen the Goofy movie understands exactly what I mean. Oof, yet that was rough. He just wanted to spend time with Maximum. Ferriman. I always feel bad for him when I rewatch the LOTR trilogy for the umpteenth time, the extended edition to boot, which tells more of Ferriman's story. Yes, I wish that. Cuts like a knife, man, it's horrible. All the kids that go to Hogwarts when HP went there. Shit, man. I'm just trying to create a potion that will make broccoli taste like chocolate. Now I gotta fight a war with giant snakes, racist wizards, and shit. The Cabbage Cart Guy. It's all a ploy by the Lettuce Association of Ba Sing Se. Butters, this poor kid is always manipulated by his friends and grounded for everything. Butters, you're grounded. That line always makes me laugh but also feel so bad for him. I always felt bad for poor old Edward Scissorhands. His pop died before giving him real hands. Klaus from the Umbrella Academy literally gets kidnapped and tortured for like 2 days without any of his siblings noticing. Also brought up seeing dead people, which would obviously screw up any child. Was locked in a cemetery for hours, etc. No one really cared about him and just saw him as a stoner and couldn't see the whole time he is basically calling out for help. Also Dave. Yep, really felt for him when he started to finally control his power, only for the rest of them to not believe him. I think we've all felt the hopelessness of not being believed at some point in our lives. Jack's friend in Titanic. Imagine, you sneak onto a world-class cruise with your best friend in the whole world, only for him to completely ignore you for a mediocre girl, only for you to ducking die when the ship sinks. All these years, ABD countless rewatches, and I never considered what happened to him. Rickety Cricket. The episode he fell in love with the dog killed me. All the clone troopers. I feel so bad for them. They were just used by the Republic and then just thrown away after the Clone Wars. Doofenshmirtz. Dude got left for a whale. His parents didn't show up the day he was born. Jesse Pinkman. Ah man, life just would not let him sort himself out. He wasn't really bad, just broken. The bit where he covered for his kid brother's drugs, I think that was the real Jesse. Like the episode in the Tweaker's house with the ATM. That one really showed me that Jesse just got caught up in shit that he wasn't meant to be in. Todd in the episode of Community where they divide into study groups. No offense. None taken. A single teardrop running down his face. Sydney Prescott. She's had, what, 8 different serial killers after her? Pretty much everyone she's known or dated has been brutally murdered. And all because she did nothing. She did nothing to deserve a life of torment. But wait, there's more. Another Scream is coming, so far only Dewey is confirmed. The brother and sister from the Grave of the Fireflies. That's based on a true story. The only difference is the brother didn't die but went on to write the story, plagued with guilt for not being able to save his sister. Oh man, don't tell me this. The only way I was able to not burst into tears at the mere mention of the film was that I thought it was fictional. That one lady who gets picked up by the pterodactyls in Jurassic World and then almost drowns before getting picked up again only to be eaten by a mosasaurus. All she did was say her fiancé couldn't have a bachelor party. You know that had to be a writer trying to get back at his fiancé for not allowing him to have a bachelor party, so he figured he'd kill her fictionally. Squidward. Was anything sadder than when he had to firmly grasp it? What about the time all those Krabby Patties went right to his thighs and then he blew up? Frodo. He ends up burnt out, with severe PTSD, a missing finger, lasting blade venom and spit-abide toxic shock. His achievements are unknown in the Shire. He remains a casualty of the War of the Ring. His achievements are known throughout much of the rest of the world though. When Aragorn says you bow to no one at the end of ROTK, everyone bows to them. I'd imagine tales of folklore were established for them after the war as well, because Aragorn and the Fellowship know just how much the hobbits did to end the war. Plus on top of that, Frodo wrote a book that told the whole story, so I'm sure that got pushed around eventually. Who needs the people of the Shire anyways? They didn't even know a war was going on. Teddy from Westwood. Poor guy has been treated like shit by everyone. The Marsden Curse. Mace Hughes. R.I.P. Hughes. He dug too deep for the boys, but I believe he didn't regret a thing besides not being around for his daughter. Daddy, you need to go to work, ducking killed me. Tom Robinson from To Kill a Mockingbird. I also feel bad for Boo Radley. Poor guy gets treated like crap by his abusive family. Will from Stranger Things. His childhood is ruined by traumatic events, and when he finally comes back his friends are too busy being in love to care. The entire third season he's just trying to play D&D. It's infuriating. Azula. Don't get me wrong, I still hate her guts, but her and Zuko are examples of how shitty parenting can differently duck up your kids. Yes, whenever they brought up her mom and how slowly she was breaking down the last season, I always saw her as the most powerful character, so powerful only she was able to take herself down. Ocarina of Time Link. Poor dude lived a tragedy. In BOTW Link lost, fell asleep for 100 years, woke up with all of his friends dead because of him, and is expected to fix everything. When you put it that way, it's basically the setup to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Woodhouse the butler from Archer, treated like shit throughout the whole series by pretty much everyone, missed out on his last chance to see his brother because of his a-hole boss, reduced to living in an empty pool, used as an online prostitute, then died off screen a penniless and unloved heroin addict. I need you to go buy sand. I don't know if they grade it, but course. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. He ended up truly caring about Quill and the others. He sacrificed himself to ensure the safety and well-being of the others. I also loved that he called Groot Twig. I cried when he died. His bonding with Rocket really got me. GOTG2 had some fantastic character development not often seen in sequels. Sirius Black. Born into a psycho-supremacist family, accused of ratting out his BFF, rots in Azkaban for 12 years, for a crime he didn't commit, goes on the run, and dies a wanted criminal. Damn. Mrs. Everdeen from The Hunger Games. She loses her husband in a mine explosion, then almost loses Katniss in The Hunger Games twice, and then Prim dies another explosion. She was already broken after her husband and was barely starting to recover, but that last blow really must have hurt her. I can't remember if the book clarified on that. Thomas from the Maze Runner series of novels. That kid is put through a ridiculous amount of emotional and physical trauma only to have everything he's ever done be destroyed by himself. And then there's poor Chuck. He literally just wanted to be happy and didn't do anything to hurt anyone. The beginning of the Fever Code seriously made me feel for Thomas though too. Neville Longbottom. His parents are alive but were tortured into insanity by Bellatrix when he was a baby. He never mentions them, and there's only one scene in the books where Harry gets a proper glimpse into Neville's life. During a visit to the St. Mungo's Hospital, Neville's parents are completely lost and don't even seem to recognize their son. I just find it incredibly poignant that what is ostensibly a comic relief character has such a tragic backstory, but in spite of that, in the face of deadly adversity, overcomes his fears and becomes a hero. Frey's dog, Seymour. The Ender Dragon. Imagine being the last of your kind and pregnant. Then some random dude comes to your home and slaughters you. Imagine being infinitely reborn by 4 crystals that were supposed to keep you alive, only to be slaughtered, again and again, forever. True. Probably Captain Rex. He spent 3 years fighting for the wrong side without even knowing until it was too late. Then all his brothers turned on him, and his one friend through it all was Ahsoka, who he had to say goodbye to, not knowing Anakin or Obi-Wan's fate, but knowing that all of his clone friends had turned evil, or died. Meg Griffin from Family Guy. Her family is insanely neglectful and abusive. She's bullied by everyone for no reason, and it seems like the universe just hates her. It's why she was one of the 3 characters whose name is part of the character trope titled Megwood the Wizard. Helga from Hey Arnold. Fitz and Simmons from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They always seem to be dealt a bad hand during their lives as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. I mean, across 6 seasons they've both been chucked into an ocean by a guy they thought was their friend. Simmons has been stranded on an alien planet. Fitz has suffered a brain injury and faced the mental trauma of the pain he committed in a simulation when the computer rewrote his life to be an evil Hydra, basically a Nazi doctor, which led to a complete mental breakdown where he started envisioning the Hydra version of himself from the simulation. And they've both spent significant portions of time grieving over people each other who they thought were dead. Buffy Summers. After saving the world repeatedly, her mom died of a brain aneurysm, and the scene when she finds the body always makes me cry. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.